Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Hey, well, thank you, Sean, for the rousing introduction. So today is part 2 of our war stories. We get to play in the war. And last time we were led by GM Nate through character generation. I heard some of you folks like that. Now we get to see mine and Mike's character die in the fields of Normandy. But before I turn over to the GM, I'm going to give a quick shout out to everybody that's here. We have Doc W. Say hi, Doc.
Hello, everyone.
That's Doc. Then we have Mr. Mike, Sapper Mike, from the first one.
Hey, everybody.
And one of our own, NDNG, Phil B. Good evening, Phil.
Hey, good evening, Mitch.
And a special guest with us today, the designer of War Stories, Gabe Garcia. Welcome back.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to get to play in this game and not have to worry about running it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to need your experience. So I'm going to turn it over to the the game master, the Supreme Allied Commander of War Stories. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nate, 177th Armor, S. Take it away, Nate.
Thanks for that, Mitch. So, without further ado for the crew here, for tonight's little demo of the War Story system, designed by Mr. Gabe Garcia, we are going to take the 2nd Squad, 1st Platoon, Baker Company of the 501st PIR on their D-Day mission. So the 501st is tasked with going behind the German lines in Normandy to try to seize the ingress and egress routes to prevent a counterattack from the panzer groups onto the established beachhead. So all the folks here, all of our characters, will have been loaded up in planes the night prior, and then in the middle of the night dropped into the battlefield to establish some hasty defensive positions, seize key objectives, and hopefully disrupt any possible German counterattack. And so, what I'd like to do, since we just went through the introductions here, I would like to see if, starting with our esteemed host, Mitch, just briefly introduce the characters in this squad so we get to know them a little bit before they die horribly in the fields of northern France.
Okay, well, for those who heard our last show, I have named my character, and it's Seamus McFly. I go by Ginger because of my flaming red hair. I was a street kid who became a cop. Matter of fact, that's why I have this pistol here. Whoop. I think it's loaded. And they wanted me to be a medic, but, I'm here to fight. So happy to see you boys on the DZ.
Thank you, Mitch. And Phil, if you could introduce Al.
Private First Class, Alexander Metaxas, goes by Al. I am a forward observer, technically for the platoon, but don't mind slumming it down here in the squad. And I'm incredibly well-read. I'm a graduate of the University of Chicago, where I majored in physics. How I ended up enlisted in the Army is a long and complicated story, so let me try to get you to believe that I just really wanted to do my patriotic duty. I really wish people would read more books, and I don't understand how some of these people can make it through life without stumbling over their bootlaces.
Talking about us there, Doc.
Whoa. I read.
Comics.
Thank you for that, Phil. And speaking of Doc, if you wouldn't mind introducing your member of the squad.
Hi, so I have Private Jack Tarzan Carter, who has not met a book by Edgar Rice Burroughs that he hasn't read at this point, which is why me and Al get along so well, because I can actually read, unlike Mitch's character.
Reading's overrated.
Anyways, Jack is from Appalachia and just happened to have a really good public library that had an eccentric librarian, hence all the Edgar Rice Burroughs books.
Well, thanks for that, Doc. And Mike?
Joe Smith goes by Canuck. You can probably guess why. Fresh out of prison, and he's only in the Army because he couldn't get a job anywhere else due to records. That's about it up for Joe.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
his shoes untied.
Yes. And then to round out the group of players, actually using the background character mechanic built into the game, Gabe Garcia will be guest starring as Private Chris Jitters Jones, the youngest member of the squad, who's notorious for throwing up right before every one of the training jumps, and will likely do a repeat here tonight.
Shit, I did that too.
I'll be representing the nervous batch, no doubt. But it should be good. It should be good. I'm looking forward to getting the lunch out and not worrying about that again.
All right. So, without further ado, it's obviously been a harrowing night for all of you, doing the last preps and checks in your gear, having the squad leader come through, shake your pack to make sure you've got your main and reserve ready, trying to make sure your leg bag is at least somewhat tight so that you don't lose it on the way down, and then hearing a speech from your company commander about the importance of your mission that, for the most part, goes in one ear and out the other, because all you can think about is that in just a few hours you will be loading a perfectly good airplane with your precious bodies and then jumping out of it straight into the heart of enemy territory. Luckily, even though you were able to hear the burst of flak all around you, and some of the pilots seemed to perhaps be on the edge of losing their nerve, they did manage to drop you somewhere close to approximating your actual objective, although in the dark of the night and through the natural scatter of the troopers, you find yourself in various predicaments. And so as we shift here to the tactical map, everyone should be able to see where they are right now. Fumbling around in the dark, you can hear where some other folks have landed. You can still hear the big booms of the cannon firing at some of the planes overhead. But the ground itself, eerily quiet around you as you stumble about trying to get your bearings. And so going from left to right on the map, our esteemed Seamus McFly managed to eat the dirt right beside this little patch of muddy canal, but otherwise landed intact. Jack Carter, minus his leg bag, which came undone, some 500 meters back in his drop, managed to crash into some underbrush unceremoniously, but is at least better off than poor Private Jones, who barely avoided smashing into the trunk of a tree. Private Smith, likewise, actually hit the side of this small hill and skidded down the side of it, somewhere in the process losing his rifle, while the forward observer, Al Metaxas, finds his chute tangled up on the tree atop this small hill. And so with that, gentlemen, starting with our friend Seamus, what are your actions on the ground?
Well, I'm going to try to roll up my stick. So I am going to head in. Is there a north-south on this map? Or can I just move them? There we go. I'm going to head this way, looking for somebody else. How many hexes can I move?
So a slow move, something that consumes all of your movement around, is 20 meters or 4 hexes on this map.
All right, there I am, and I looks like I can see Jitters. It's in Tarzan, but I'm not going to call out because I think this German's around here.
Okay. So then going to Tarzan, what are you doing on the ground?
So I lost my leg bag. Does that mean I have sans my bazooka?
Yep, all your extra kit that was stored in your bag is somewhere else in France right now.
All right. So I have what? The pistol and the grease gun?
Yep.
Forgetting how that. Okay. Well, so much for the bazooka. Looks like I can see old Seamus there, so I'm going to move in his general direction.
Top of the morning to you there, Jones. Oh, Carter. Sorry.
It's all good. But speaking of Jones, Gabe, what is Jitters doing out there in the woods?
Well, I'll tell you this. I am having a little technical issue. I can't see the map. It's all black. Am I somehow not been enabled maybe for that? Because I see like the little pings with the little circles, pink circles, but it's all black. So
Let me
slight.
see if I can. Let me do that for you real quick. Yep, there we go.
There we go.
For you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's much better. Okay, so I am looking now to see where I'm at, and I did see Canuck and McFly, and so I'm gonna head over to Canuck, who's apparently a bit closer to me, and get up to speed with the rest of the group. So I can move this guy.
Yep, you should be able to move if you can click the token and then move around.
Man, I'm trying to see if I can. Not sure how to. There we go. Oh, too far. Okay. Well, it's really sensitive. There we go.
Yep, it's
So I'm gonna come up alongside him and thunder, lightning, right? Get over to the group.
there you go. And so then Smith, as you find yourself on the side of the hill, probably a bit worse for wear in the scrapes without a weapon. What are your actions on the ground?
Fucking rifle sling, man. I want to take a quick look for the rifle, see if I can see anything in the area. And if I can't, then I'll move on over to Jitters because I got a knife.
Fair enough. Give me a perception roll, which is going to be your intelligence plus your perception skill on the sheet. And you're taking a -2 because of the darkness.
And that's 3D, so that's D6, correct?
Correct. D6.
That many D6.
It's all dice. Yeah,
right. Yep.
War Stories is all dice pool system. All right. So so because you didn't roll any 6s, you don't have any success there. Now you can choose to push the roll, so you can choose to roll it again. But if you roll any 1s, then you give me, the GM, a foobar point, which I can use later in the session to screw you over. So you can try again, but if you roll a 1, then that gives me a free ticket to mess with you later.
Will we rally up? Can we help them?
Once you're all rallied up, then yes, you can.
All right. Well, I don't see it anyways. I'm more comfortable with a knife, and I got a pistol, so that makes me happy. I'll let Jitters know. I have him. I don't know where it's at. It's here somewhere, Jitters. But I know we got to get with the group.
All right. Ready weapons. We got to take a look.
Fair enough. All right, and then last but not least, the forward observer, PFC Metaxas. How are you going to extricate yourself out of this current predicament?
Read a book.
You're muted, Phil, if you're saying something.
Yes, so PFC Metaxas is grumbling in Greek. Since nobody else speaks Greek, you don't know what he's saying, but it doesn't sound good. He seems pretty frustrated. That said, I look down, and do I have my knife handy?
Yes.
I'm going to attempt to safely cut myself from the tree, because I'm much more concerned about getting shot to death than falling the remaining 5 feet.
Okay. Easy enough. Give me a nimble check, so agility plus your nimble skill, with a +2 for using your combat knife to let yourself down.
Can I make an argument that it's close combat?
Unless you're trying to fight against yourself, which is like some man versus self stuff, then no.
While my character is quite surly, I don't think he's at that level, so okay. I only have agility, so I'll just be rolling 3 agility dice.
+2. +2 for the gear. Yep.
Total of 5.
Yep. Because War Stories, it's always the dice pool is attribute plus skill plus gear. All right.
Okay.
And you got a success there. So you managed to cut the straps off and get yourself down the ground. None the worse for the wear with the rest of your gear.
Okay, terrific. I take my carbine out of my leg bag, and I want to try to move towards the sounds of where I heard people falling.
Okay, and so it's generally going to be to your west and southwest. You still have your 20 meters of movement.
Okay.
There he is.
Lightning.
Flash.
Thunder. Flash.
And so as you're, as all of you are trying to do the challenge and password, remembering what the heck it was in the briefing that you got earlier, you hear the distinctive click click of a cricket somewhere nearby.
Well, I saw the movie The Longest Day. That could be a German bolt-action rifle.
Your character's a time traveler?
I read the
with
book.
a name like McFly, you know.
That took way
Exactly,
too long for
yeah.
somebody to hit that.
That's right. Thank you, Doc.
Sorry, I was chewing on something, but yeah. You're welcome.
So is
I'll take a
anybody
look.
who's taking a look?
Metaxas.
All right, Metaxas. And so you happen to see crawling on its belly near some of the underbrush is the Baker Company commander, Captain Hamlin.
Oh, shit, not this guy.
Killer Keith Hamlin.
And so as he crawls up, he cups his hands over his mouth and probably says it a bit too loud, in position.
Metaxas goes prone and tries to get to cover.
Same.
Yep.
Yep.
I follow suit.
All right, so everyone's just choosing just to go to ground then?
Go to ground, and I try to smear off some of the upchuck that I notice on my fatigues. It happened again.
That it did. And so you can hear the frustration in Captain Hamlin's voice as he tries to go a little louder in the whisper. We need to get moving. The objective's about 200 clicks or 200 meters to our south. If we don't secure it, you know that the boss is going to be chewing our ass. And as he's berating you in the dark, in the blind, you hear a distinctive noise.
This is why I'm glad I'm in cover.
And without further ado, you see this massive shower of earth and little bits of red mist where Captain Hamlin was just moments before.
Damn.
Oh, man.
So much for killer. Ooh.
And so,
Killer Keith Hamlin.
so let's see who is.
Oh man.
Metaxas again. Give me an insight check.
I'm sorry. Say again. My dog disconnected my headphones.
No, you're good. Metaxas, give me an insight check. So intelligence plus insight.
Okay.
Got 2 6s? Nope.
I had 7 in total, but I'm just using the drop down.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's easy enough. So, 2 successes. So, Metaxas, you know that there's no way in hell that under these conditions, that with this speed, that an enemy FO was able to spot you where you are right now, which means you just landed in a pre-registered fire zone. So the Germans are firing blind, but they anticipated this is one of your drop zones. So if you stay here, you're eventually going to turn into dog meat.
All right, we got to move south now, unless you all want to feel the destructive power of artillery firsthand.
That convinced me. I'm ready to go.
I'm out. Let's move.
Yeah, lead the way. Let's get out of this outfit.
All right, so who's going where? And who's going where and in what direction?
Metaxas, you take the lead, man. Go.
Yep.
Oh no. If I buy it, stepping on a mine, none of you Neanderthals understand how to talk to the guns. I'm not going first, but I will guide you because I have a map that I know how to read.
Yes. That's why we brought him along.
All right, I'll head to the south.
They gotta move.
Okay, McFly, you go ahead. I'll get us guidance as we get further back. I'm not really sure where we drop, though. Hopefully we can find a landmark soon.
All right, so I moved 4 to the south, which is to the bottom, I guess, right?
It is, yes.
All right, and
It's
I
a
see
north-oriented map.
the captain's body. Does he have a map on him too? Well, forget about it. I'm not touching that.
Was he ever?
But say you're welcome to try to rifle through there if you want to see if you can grab anything of use.
I don't want
But
to die.
you are still
Is that-
standing in a artillery zone.
Ah.
I'm moving along, and as I'm moving along, just kind of looking around to see if maybe I see my bazooka.
Hit another perception check there. So it's going to be intelligence plus perception.
Oh,
No, but you can choose to try to push again if you want to push your luck, literally.
Ooh, but that one is already out there.
I mean, it can't be any worse, right? Famous last words. Yeah, I'm gonna push. Ha! I failed spectacularly.
All right. So no luck finding your bazooka, but you do get this just bad feeling running down your spine that this is already going poorly, and perhaps that streak of bad luck is soon to continue.
Good.
I'm not going.
No.
I'm not going
Hey,
anywhere
Fly,
near
why
him.
don't you come over here and walk beside me? It can't get any worse, can it?
I'm not going anywhere near you for the rest of this adventure, sir.
Hey, everybody. Remember noise and light discipline? That thing we were yelled at about? A lot?
Yeah.
All right. Enough chatter. Let's go.
All right. So who's leading this merry band right now?
I was just told south, so that's the direction I moved.
All right, that certainly works. Since you're point man right now, Smith, give me a perception roll.
Oh, that's a wonderful roll for me to do. Not perception. All right.
Yep. Up. So nothing that you other than obviously the sound of the rounds flying overhead and the AA gun still chattering in the background. You don't happen to catch anything unusual as you stumble forward until.
Uh-oh.
The good news is I could
I
dodge.
have my M1, right? I do have my. Does does my character have his? I mean, I assume I wasn't told I didn't have it. So Jitters is making sure it's all got his rifle ready in the event.
Yeah, Jitters is good. Jitters has his rifle. But as Smith boldly leads the group forward, you can hear just faintly coming towards you some sounds of people talking.
Can we tell what language they're speaking?
It's not English.
Great.
I
I only speak English.
drop to the ground behind a tree.
Yeah, are we in just undulating fields? Are we in like a mire? Are we in is there some trees to hide behind?
It's just some basic overgrown field, fallow field between the two large canals in the area. So there's enough for like some knee-high brush, some waist-high in places, but nothing that's going to stop a bullet.
Okay, cool. I think I'm ducking down and hitting the dirt, chest to the ground.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got 3 for going prone. Anybody staying upright?
No, I'm going prone.
Negative. Okay. All right, and so as you go prone, you can see some figures trying to do a sweep of the area, looking for any signs of U.S. paratroopers.
Do we have a count on their number?
So you should be able to see roughly 3 of them, but it's hard to tell in the dark.
I got my knife ready.
Yeah, and they're sweeping around too, so it's not like they're in a clump.
Yep.
Okay. Al is going to motion to Jitters for Jitters to shoot the guy in the south. Motion that I'm going to try to shoot the guy that's closest to us. And then Smith, Al just makes a motion, something, use your knife. He's not really sure how to commit you from here.
I have a pistol in my other hand, so.
Okay. So Al puts 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, moves his hand to a carbine, aims, and shoots.
All right. So with that, let's deal out the cards to everybody.
So as GM, if you feel that this was meriting a surprise round, then we basically get a slow action just prior to the cards being dealt out. If on the other hand you want to make a roll for their perception versus our infiltration, then that's up to you as well.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was just say I also have quick to react if that applies here. If this is considered a surprise, so I get a slow action along with that surprise attack.
Yep. So this because they were doing a sweep for survivors and not expecting anyone to actually be up and mobile, you can get your surprise round here. The card in your hand is going to correspond with your initiative order, assuming that this combat goes through the surprise round.
Right.
So with that, first card is... Let's see, who has the highest card right now?
Well, I didn't draw one.
I'm not showing any cards in my hand.
Yeah.
Hold on.
How do you draw them? I'm not sure how to do that.
Where you see the screaming chicken on the right, you just hit draw.
The screen. Oh.
Yep.
So are we supposed to draw, or is the GM dealing?
I had to make the custom deck here, so if it's not dealing out to everyone here, let me recall the deck. And then... Did that give you a card?
No.
I have not seen a card yet.
Negative.
All right.
I could draw a card myself.
Okay, if everyone just draw a card, we'll go that way then.
All right.
I have a 3.
I got a card. Oh,
Okay.
Okay. It went away for a second. I'll draw a card.
You should be able to.
Got it.
Right above your name should be the card. Okay.
So I have a 3.
I have a 3.
I think I have a 5. Do I drag it? I put it above my name?
Yes. If you put it over your name, then that will be your initiative order.
I do not see the card above my name. Oh, I see why. Give me 1 second here. Let me fix
Okay.
where my stuff is appearing at, and then that should be fine.
I'm trying to drag it, and it doesn't stick to my little icon name.
Oh, weird.
So, I'm just seeing a 1.
Oh, wait. I think I just did it. Maybe? No?
Nope,
Yeah,
because you don't
I
have it
just
above
got
your thing. Okay.
Mine, everybody shows a 1. I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that
mine's
should be the
3.
number of cards you have is that number at the top.
I have a
Yeah.
6.
If you're seeing the patch, that's a face down card. You can only click and highlight on the
Ah.
one in your hand to learn what its value
Got
is.
it. Got it.
So how do I see that again?
You see your avatar at the bottom with the Japanese dude? Click on the 101st icon there, and it pops it right up. Okay, it's gone now.
Yeah, it said they wanted to steal my card. I said go.
I didn't. I was toying around with it. I didn't know what this meant. All right. I think I have a 2.
All right, here. Let's see. Just do this manually, and hopefully that will get us where we need to go.
Ah, there we go. I have a 4. Cool.
Right. For some reason, it does not want to give Gabe a card.
I have my Firelock activation deck right here.
Ah, there you go. That was
I got a
was
6.
like- okay. All right. So the top of the order. Does anybody have the 10?
Nope.
No. Nope. Okay. 9. Nope. 8. Nope. 7. 6.
6.
6. All right. What's your
right.
action?
All right, so I get a slow action and a fast action. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so let's aim and then do my ranged attack.
All right. So that's going to be a
But
plus
it's-
1 then to your ranged combat roll.
And that's with a pistol, which is not great, but it is what you got.
Better than nothing, at least.
Oh, yeah. So you said plus 1, plus ranged attack. All right. And that's agility plus ranged attack, correct? Or just the ranged attack?
It's agility plus range attack. Yep.
All right.
It's always going to be your attribute plus skill
5,
plus
6.
relevant gear. And then minus
Where
penalties.
did All right. Somehow I hid my chat unexpectedly. That's all right. I'll do this plus a 1. No 6s. No 6s.
No 6s. Do you want to try to push?
Yep, we'll give it that shot.
All right. Reroll everything that's not a 1.
Man.
Yeah, that's
I'm lucky. Look at how lucky I am.
that's tough.
That's a lot of
That's tough.
bad numbers,
4s.
man.
Yeah, I know. I keep getting a ton of 4s. All right.
So close, but yet so far. As you initiate the firefight, popping off a round that just goes straight past the German shoulder. Who has 5s? Anyone at 5 card? No?
I think I had a 2 before. I don't know what I have right now, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
How do I even look?
you would have been able to look at in the deck, but the deck that I tried to put together manually is obviously having some technical issues. We'll just have you go then, Gabe. We'll put you with the 5 order.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'm gonna fire a rapid fire 3 rounds from my M1. I'm gonna get my agility 3, my range combat 1, that's 4, and 1 extra for the rapid fire, that's 5. And then I'm using Jones from the main book, since I'm Jones in name here, and he's a sharpshooter, so +1 more for firing a range combat with a rifle or shotgun. So that gives me 6 dice. And you said it was backspace R66.
That's correct.
Is that about all right? That's backspace R66. Enter. Here we go. Boom! Boom!
Ooh. All
That's
right.
gonna hurt. That's gonna leave a mark. All
That
right.
is going to leave a mark.
So I hope. So I'm gonna take the extra success and pop it into extra damage.
Yep.
So my rifle's got a +2 damage, so now it'll become a +3 to this D10 roll.
It sure will.
And that leaves me with a D10, and is that what it is? It's just one. I don't have to put the 1, just put a D10.
You can do it. You can roll D10 plus 3, and it'll automatically add it. But
6.
for this case,
Got it. So 6 + 3, it'll be 9, and that is going to be 2 points of damage. So he might be hugging the ground for a little bit, maybe.
All right, and so as you fire off, hitting the patrolling German shoulder just below the hip, basically knocking his leg out from him as he cries out some German curse and falls flat.
Scheiße.
Mein Hund! All right then, Doc.
Yeah, so I can't see any of the Germans yet. So I guess I'm gonna need to move.
Yep. So you can move 10 meters as a fast action, or 20 meters as a slow action. You get 1 slow action and 1 fast action per round, or you can trade and get 2 fast actions if you want to do something finicky for some reason.
All right, and each hex is how many meters again?
5.
5.
And just for clarification, you can, when you do play War Stories, you can make the map whatever scale you want. I just did 5 here for simplicity for the math.
Okay. I'm going to move down. So I see the German soldier. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze off a burst from my grease gun towards him.
Okay.
So that should be so it's agility plus range combat plus the bonus, so that's 4, 6, 8.
Yes.
I'd say I got him.
Yeah. That is a heck of a hit. So if you will then roll that 1d10 plus should be another 3.
Okay.
All right, and that is going to be enough that as the German cries out for help, you squeeze off a burst into the underbrush, and there's no more noise coming that direction. He's down.
Fuck you, German.
Yeah. Get these guys to start panicking.
All right, then to Mitch.
All right, so I'm going to move. I still don't have a target. So I am going to duck down and wait for a target to appear. But I can see Al, I gotcha, and I'm just going to wait for a target. Or should I move the extra 10 meters? Nope, I still don't see anything, so I'm repositioned. I'm on the ground, and I'm behind Al and Jitters and Smith.
All right then. And then we're going to who's the last in the order? Is it Phil or Doc?
I've already
Doc's
gone.
already gone. I got a 3.
Okay, Phil then.
All right, so Al is going to crawl down to try to deconflict fires and not shoot over his friend, and then squeeze off some rapid fire against this German soldier. So that's going to be 3 for agility,
Yep.
3 for range combat,
Yep.
1 for rapid fire, and 1 for sharpshooter for a total of 8.
Correct.
I'll roll 5 and 3.
All right, so you got
That's
the
a
one
hit.
hit on that one. So that is going to be a 1d10 plus 2 for the damage on the German.
I think only +1 with the carbine. I got a smaller caliber.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah, you're
correct.
right. So 1d10 plus 1 then.
7, so 8 total.
8 total.
Okay.
All right. As you see the German clutch his arm as your bullet rips through his sleeve and into his side. But now that the surprise is over, the Germans who remain ready their weapons and begin to go at it. So with that, with the start of this round, normally we reshuffle the deck, but since the deck is broken, we'll just go same turn order, starting with Mike.
All right.
So Mike, you're
These
actually
guys are tough, huh?
I'm
there's
sorry.
no
I thought they were
hesitation on these?
attacking. I'm sorry. I forgot that was the prize round. Then I will. This German to the south is close enough that I can hit him with a sprint. So let me look. That would be 2 fast actions, right? Sprint and melee attack, or a sprint and a tackle, I guess, to be more.
Yeah, you'll be able to get in there with the close action and with the your fast action, then initiate close combat.
Yeah. So that'll be the actions taken.
Okay, so then roll your close combat.
Where's the knife? +1, so 5. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
A
dang.
success finally.
And for the Germans, so the close combat is actually an opposed roll, so it's close combat versus close combat. So he is going. And your 2 successes beats his 1, so you managed to jam that knife into him. So roll your 1d10.
So 8 total, the +1 from the knife.
Yep. And so that's where you feel as you grab hold of the German, he tries to get his rifle between you and him, but to no avail, as your knife is able to come up and sink straight into his ribs.
Get some.
And seeing his patrol mate fall, the remaining German soldier throws down his carabiner, and raises his hands in the air, his hands shaking. It just says, "Kamerad, Kamerad," over and over again.
I think the captain said shoot all prisoners before he died.
I second that motion.
Don't you think he might have something of value to say?
You're up to
Yeah,
your
Hey,
One
you
of
want
us
your-
one of us speaks German.
Who speaks German?
Yeah, which one of us speaks Kraut?
Well, maybe we'll luck out.
Nobody speaks German?
Maybe he was
I
in
don't
the
know.
right place at the right time at 1940. I tried talking to him in Greek.
I
So
got
go
my
ahead and
rifle
search this
aimed
guy
at him.
for a gun.
Bold play. You're searching the German for a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to have the Mauser on him. You can snag that.
Yeah,
as
some
a
ammo.
impromptu weapon.
I mean,
your attempts to speak Greek only serve to confuse this German private from the reserve battalion because he speaks less Greek than he did English.
and he's probably going to think he's being attacked by a bunch of diner owners.
Al size. Okay, fine.
Is he disarmed?
Yeah, he threw his weapon on the ground.
Okay.
And
We searched him?
Canuck, did you search him?
I was searching the down German that was next to me.
I got him on my side.
I will move over. Here.
McFly, weren't you a cop?
I am, but I don't see any.
Okay,
so you want me to head over to the dead German and check him?
No, search the live German. Do your prisoner detainee thing.
All right. Well, I do have that perception, right?
You do. Make a perception roll on this guy.
All right. So going to this, that is intelligence plus perception. That's 6. So I'm going to do the drop down.
I'm gonna help in any way I can, like maybe make sure and maneuver up. He didn't need my help.
No, easy enough. So Seamus gets over there and does a quick shakedown of the German soldier who's keeps on babbling incomprehensibly in his native tongue. Seamus finds the typical detritus you'd expect. Some matches, crappy cigarettes, a little half-eaten chocolate bar he'd stuffed in his cargo pocket. But Seamus also happens to come across a little folded map inside, along with what looks like to be a series of half-folded over pamphlets that look like they've been printed from some local headquarters.
Well, I can't read it, and according to Al, I'm not a good reader. So I'm gonna hand those to Al.
Don't blame me. Blame your high school.
It's in Dublin. Calm
And
down.
by the way, Seamus had that extra 6. He could turn that into a lucky strike.
This is true. So you can take that as a lucky strike, which is almost like a get out of jail free / bonus point you can spend at any point in time. Everyone starts the scenario with 1, and you can hold up to 2 at a time.
Well, and I only rolled 5 with my 6, so let me see if I get another 6. /R 1d6. No, so I'm going to take that lucky strike.
Okay, so you're now packing 2.
So, any of these guys have like Panzerfausts on them?
No, they
not
weren't expecting the
Not in June of 44. No.
Yeah.
Well,
But while you mention that, so is anyone taking a look at the sketch map the guy had?
Well, I handed it to Al.
Yeah, Al will take a look.
Okay, Al, give me that insight check again.
Okay. So this will be 7 again, 5 for intel, 2 for insight.
Nice.
Not a good start, but
but a 6. Okay, so Al had to go through a little bit more intensive basic than the other folks. And so you know at least enough about what a basic sketch map should look like. And it sure appears from this guy's little handy-dandy note that just south of where you are is the La Barquette Canal. And it looks like in a little chateau across, the Germans have set up an AA gun position, anti-tank gun position, a couple 88s to block any American advance across the canal.
oh crap!
I don't think we should go there.
These are the guns we got to neutralize. We don't have a choice.
All right.
Of course it's 88s. It had to be 88s.
Just the
Well, we
five
had
of
a
us?
bazooka.
Man.
So,
And
Well-
as you're commiserating through all this, you hear you hear that the sounds of something shuffling towards you in the underbrush.
all right, I'm hitting the ground, looking for a
Yep.
target.
Likewise.
Heads up.
Yep.
Hit the dirt.
I got a
Look
German
out.
body
What
in
about
front
the
of me.
German
with his shield.
soldier?
The
I
German's
dragged
just
the
working.
German.
Yeah.
Hit him in
I
the
dragged
gut.
the,
Make him
I
down.
dragged the German shoulder. I dragged the German soldier down, and I clamped my hand over his mouth, making sure he doesn't use his teeth on me.
Okay, and so you wrestle the German to the ground. He makes just a token effort to resist, and you can smell little ammonia sting in the air, where he's clearly wet
Oh.
himself from the events of this past bit. But as you get down the dirt, Private Carter can hear something slinking closer towards him on his belly. As you hear someone call out, "Flash! Flash!
Thunder?
God damn it!"
Thunder?
You hear someone just give a sigh of relief. Thank fucking Christ! I thought we were all dead. And you see, crawling through the underbrush is your historic regimental commander, Colonel Howard Jumpy Johnson.
Not this guy.
Well, as I done found the colonel.
You didn't have to.
There he is, Jumpy Johnson.
So he was also the regimental commander for the 501st during Market Garden. But that's assuming you survived this scenario.
And later went on to found a hotel chain / eatery.
But his Colonel Johnson crawls forward on his belly, closer to Carter. Says, "All right, how many of you boys still alive?"
5
All
of
of
us.
us?
Yeah, they're five of us, sir.
Five.
The captain bought it back.
You want a
there,
roll
some
call,
border-
Colonel?
I don't need a roll call, son. I just need some warm fucking bodies to take this objective. He looks around
What do you
left
want us
and right. This place is crawling with krauts. Artillery fire coming in, but I got some news for you boys. If we don't take that canal, there ain't nothing between an SS Panzer Grenadier Division and all those boys on the beach. So, I wish I had some better news, but we gotta find a piece of dirt over there and dig in to block those reinforcements.
Sir, do we have our mortars set up?
Show him the map.
He says,
Show him
"Hey,
the map.
who's that?"
Sir, Private Metaxas, Forward Observer from Baker Company.
And Johnson crawls over through the underbrush to Metaxas, and he slaps a big meaty hand on your shoulder. "What was that? Rank again, son?"
Private First Class, sir.
The hell it is. By tomorrow, if you still got blood in you, you're going to be a goddamn staff sergeant. Now, here's our problem, buddy. We got a little ace up our sleeve for this operation. A Navy lieutenant named Farrell. He's got comms with the USS Quincy that's just burning holes out there in the English Channel. We find Farrell. He can call in enough firepower to blast the Germans out of wherever the hell they're dug into. Only one problem, though, son.
Navy sucks.
Nobody knows where the fuck he is. I need you boys to sweep the area, find that kid, and get those shells on targets. You think you can make that happen?
Yes, sir.
He
Sure as hell try.
gives a big grin as he shakes his. He's like, "All right, that's what I like to hear. Can-do attitude. I'm gonna go try to find the rest of this regiment. You boys, you find Farrell."
Hey, Colonel, what do we do with this kraut?
So he looks over to the German soldiers. Like, "Well, any of you speak German?"
Negative, sir.
"Well, Hog tie that son of a bitch. Hope we remember where we put him come daybreak.
Well, well, well. One hog-tied German coming right up.
We should let Canuck do it. He's a farm boy and was in jail.
What are you saying?
I'm
What are you
saying.
trying to say?
Oh. You know how to hog tie.
I assume somebody knows how to, at least has some bit of skill with rope or zip cord or something.
I do believe, coming from Appalachia, that I know a thing or two about how to tie up a hog.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
before the first date.
Take his boots and his helmet.
Knock him
You
out.
know, keep talking like that, McFly.
All right, and so
I'll grab his gear.
with a little bit of extra encouragement, you're able to snag all of the gear off the German. As you can hear, some of the big guns on the beach begin registering, letting you know that the main phase of the operation is now underway.
All right, finish hog-tying the crowd cavemen, and then we gotta go and find the Navy man. Farrell? Do they wear the same uniform as us?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
they would.
So we're looking for a guy in a paratrooper uniform that answers to Farrell. He'll probably have a radio with him or a radio man nearby. That should be a good indicator.
Well, he's Navy, so if we sashay, he'll come wanting to join the party.
Al blinks 3 times.
It's an appropriate response. As all this going, as the Canuck is tying up the German, give me an insight check as you hog-tie this guy. So intelligence plus insight.
You want me to roll dice?
Okay. Just checking to see if you picked up on something as he was getting all tied up. But no, you were so fixated on making sure that those wrists and ankles are nice and tight that you miss whatever he might have been trying to convey before you put his face in the dirt.
Incidentally, I'll be glancing around the whole area, keeping just an eye out peeled for any more Germans or anybody else.
Yeah, same thing.
Hey, y'all, see if y'all can find a bazooka while you're at it.
I got a mine and some TNT.
Nice.
You gotta get close for that though.
Jack, I promise we will find you a nice big boomstick when we get rid of these guns.
Either a boomstick or a machine gun. I could use both.
All right, so according to the map, where should we got to find this dude.
Yeah. So you know that somewhere
This
down
could-
here, based on the map and your earlier reconnaissance, is the actual canal itself, your objective for the drop. Where the lieutenant could be is anybody's guess.
Well,
let's
what-
talk
what-
artillery real quick. Namely, if they have that planned fire zone back up north, he might be there, but if so, he's just like the captain. My recommendation is going to be that we move due west.
Yeah.
But I'm open to anything, really. We just got to find this guy.
well, you're the one that's got a frock promotion. I follow you.
I'm too smart to be in charge. I think, I'm just going to overthink everything. Do I have... All right, fine. We're going west, I guess. Fucking Mick.
Should we start calling you Sarge already?
No, just Al.
All right.
Al is
So?
fine.
You want me to take point? I'll start heading west.
Yeah, you do that, McFly. Use your cop abilities.
All right.
All right. So McFly, if you're taking point, give me an agility infiltrate roll here to see how sneaky you are as you cross this broken terrain.
Okay, so on that, I have infiltrate is a 3, but I think I do have sneaky or something as a street kid, but I don't think I did that. So it's
Yep.
So it's a agility.
Yep, agility plus your infiltrate skill, so it should be a total of 8 for you.
8, and all right, here comes. I got to pop out of the screen. Two 6s.
Dang, nice. All right.
Do I need both?
No, you can. Well, you already spent your lucky. You already have 2 lucky strikes, so it doesn't really help you otherwise. Other than just being extra sneaky.
Okay, I'm a sneaky son of a bitch.
You sure are.
Well, a lot of times, the opposing perception might, for example, roll 3 6s in which, or let's say 1, in which case you do need your extra 6 to out sneak the guy perceiving.
You do, yeah.
So
it never hurts to have.
Okay. So after we all move, I move out again, right?
So no, as you just hold on 1 second.
Guess if everybody's staying on the north side, I'll move to the south.
So then, Seamus, as you begin your infiltration, coming up upon this north-south country road here, you're basically, as quiet and as hard to detect as a shadow in the dead of night. But you can see a figure stumbling around just beyond your sight. And as you're coming up by the road, you see one of your squad mates, Private William Babyface Bill Harris, give out a loud shit as he stumbles over the half of a tree stump that was buried in the muck. And he stands up, cursing, like, goddamn parachute, goddamn Germans, goddamn France.
Babyface, shut your cherry ass up and get over here.
He stands up and says, "Hey, who is that?" As you hear as all of a sudden his helmet goes flying off, and his body crumples into the dirt.
What got him?
The sniper from the south. There's an elevated position there that you can just see on the edge of your periphery.
All right, I can't see him. I'm hitting the dirt, trying to acquire target.
Same.
All right.
And I'm sure everybody behind me heard that too, right?
Yeah, no, everyone heard the gunshot and saw Bill go down.
Well,
So the lighting's probably pretty bad, but is it possible to use my binoculars to try to see if I can get a better view on the sniper?
Sure, you can absolutely can. The do that, so that will basically cancel out the dark penalty. So do an intelligence perception roll with the equipment bonus in the binoculars is going to cancel out the darkness.
Okay. So that'll be 5 plus 2, 7 total. 1 success.
There you go.
All right, and so sure enough, even in this dim twilight era of the day, you can still see this little glint of a scope coming from this hill over here, just beyond the shadows.
What's his cover and concealment looking like?
There's a couple of trees on the hill, along with some of the underbrush, and it's roughly 80 meters from your position.
So he's probably up in a tree. I don't know if he's going to keep that position or relocate. I think this is pretty risky. We're going to need to do something to distract him. Does anybody have smoke grenades or...
No, I got a regular grenade. but he's out of range. It's a 10-meter.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you throw the grenade at him. I think if you threw it in a different direction to get him to run, we might be able to sprint across the area before he reorients. Unless
Okay.
he's really disciplined and doesn't look at the explosion, in which case, well, let's not think about that.
We have his location now, correct?
Correct.
I could
You
put-
know where his last shot came from.
I could put covering fire in that position while you guys advance.
You could, but if there's another guy out there, he might target your muzzle flashes. I don't know if the Germans work in pairs, but I can't imagine he's out here alone.
I could fire and displace.
If you're willing to take that risk, McFly, that might be a good bet.
Okay. So I'm going to aim at the muzzle flashes. And you want me to roll, right?
Yes, please.
Are we going to coordinate a run across the road while he does that?
That's probably a good plan if someone who's going to make that call right now. I saw that. I think when I did the sheet review, nobody had the command skill, so you're flying a bit blind there. But
Yeah, when he starts shooting, we'll all start running. I think that's the only thing we can do. We got to go find Farrell.
All right.
There we go.
Bippity boppity.
Boom.
Well, I think I'm in a conundrum.
what's the conundrum?
I'm just below McFly, hoping that he's smart enough not to shoot me.
Well, I finished firing. Now I'm going to displace.
Which direction are you going there, McFly?
I'm going to go here, drop down, and continue my try to reacquire target.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When we get across and drop, trying to zero in at wherever that target was.
Okay. And so as you run across McFly, you can definitely hear another rifle shot hitting just where you were, and you can you hear the shouting of some German voices back and forth as you cross that road. Give me a guts check. So that's going to be empathy plus your guts skill plus any relevant talents or specializations.
That's only a 3. Uh-oh.
Do you want to try to push it?
Well, I don't know what bad's going to happen to me if I don't. Yeah, I'll push it. Nope.
That doesn't help you. So as you cross the road,
Can I use my lucky strike?
help me out here, Gabe. You can't. I don't know if you push a push roll.
So the lucky strike does two things with rolls and whatnot. You can either get yourself an extra pair of dice prior to rolling, or after the roll, if you push, you can re-roll the ones that you may have rolled, but you never actually rolled any ones. So it looks like in this case, you can either retroactively roll an extra 2 dice and didn't specify the rule, We didn't actually tell you what you could do. So you can roll an extra 2 dice if you wanted to burn one of the lucky strikes.
No, it's... Yeah. Nope.
Okay.
So what happens to me, Nathan?
All right. So as you cross over, you go to hit the dirt as you hear this loud metallic clink right above your head as you realize that the German sniper actually hit the top of your helmet right above where your skull is right before you hit the dirt. So you're now here on the other side of the road, but you are effectively suppressed, meaning that unless you can take another guts test to get up and move, you are in danger. You're basically pinned down by enemy fire.
All right. Do I take that guts check now?
No, it'd be next turn.
Yeah.
But what's the rest of the motley crew that made it across the road? You see hear the gunshots come out and you see Seamus go down, what are your moves?
So again, try to reacquire that target and engage.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, if he was at 80 meters before, we just shaved about 20 meters off of that. So he's at 60, or is that right?
Right now, the closest of you is actually under 50 meters from him.
Okay, so then that's actually
straight
optimal.
line distance, not accounting elevation, but
Yeah,
Right.
correct. Okay, all right. Well, that won't incur any range penalties for an M1. So I think we can open fire if we can spot them. Do we all need to take perception checks to see if we can acquire target?
the closest person here right now is let's see if Smith can do it since he's closest, and then Al still has his binoculars. So the two that have the best shot at it.
Said perception check.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
So that's a no for Private Smith.
So remember, guys, you do have a lucky strike that'll let you roll 2 extra dice. You just want to use that judiciously, because you don't get lucky strikes back unless you roll extra 6s beyond what you need.
Yep.
Correct. And you can only have 2 of them max. So there's no
Correct.
benefit to hoarding them. If you guys want to push
Hoarding
both
them,
rolls.
right?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and push for 2 more.
Okay, so you can either roll the 2 more, or you can re-roll everything, including the ones you rolled, which you can't normally re-roll.
I only
Right.
rolled one, so I don't want to burn the lucky strike for that, I think, because it sounds like they're pretty rare, pretty valuable. So instead, I'm just going to do a normal re-roll and roll 6 instead of 7 this time.
Okay.
There you go, bud.
Boom.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So
That
Al.
did generate a foobar though, just to keep track of stuff.
Yep. So I've got 3 in my pocket right now.
Great.
Right. And there was an extra 6, which could be a lucky strike, or he could just translate that to such a good shot or good vantage to the target that the GM could decide to give you an extra die when you're shooting at him. It's up to the GM.
I think rather than give you the lucky strike, what I'll do here is for Al. Let's let you see this guy. All right, make sure I've got your vision. So Al, you should now be able to see at just the edge of your vision in this trees over here. The German sniper with his observer, both frantically trying to figure out where you and your buddies are, crouched in the muddy weeds there along the side of the canal road. Do you see where I'm pointing there, Phil?
I do.
Okay.
All right, guys, we got to take these guys.
All right.
You just point me in the right direction. I'll put them down with this whole here grease gun.
Do you want us to take initiative, or is this more of an obstacle interaction?
So we'll take initiative rather than try to figure out what I did wrong in programming the Roll20 deck. We'll just go down from the top of the order. So we'll do Doc, Gabe, Mitch, Mike, Phil, and then the Germans.
I'm suppressed, though.
You're suppressed, but you can still, on your turn when you're suppressed, you can still try to do the guts check to move, or if you're suppressed, you can still fire back, throw a grenade, etc. It's just if you try to move from your position, you have to make the guts check.
Gotcha.
And so with that, we'll start off with the top of the order with Doc.
Okay. I can't really see the German, and my grease gun is incredibly limited on range, so I'm going to move kind of in that general direction, I think. So that's 10. And if that's gunfire, I'm definitely going to ground.
All right, and so as you go down, you hit the dirt. You can hear or see the muzzle flashes arising from what seems to be a small farmhouse here to the west.
Oh.
Let's see. How far away is that?
That is about 70 meters from where you are.
Yeah. And my grease gun only has a range of 20 meters.
Well, that's close range, so there's no negative modifiers. You double that to medium range, it's a -1. You double the medium, it's a -2. You double that, it's a -3. So you can shoot beyond 20. It's gonna mean lots of negative dice.
Okay, but I have eagle eyes, so that might, at that range, that might just balance out with ranged combat and agility.
Could do it. Eagle Eyes is I got the +1 to perception test at long and extreme range, reduce range penalties for range attacks by 1. So in other words, if you have a -1 at 40 meters, then it's gone. If you go to 80 meters, that's double
just
40.
-1.
It'd normally be a -2, but it would be dropping to -1 because of your Eagle Eyes.
Okay.
So that's sitting at that long range, and you'd be at -1.
Okay. So 4, 2.
And I think the grease gun is limited range, so it doesn't have anything extreme. It can only go to 80. I think.
Yep. But you could still hit this vague shape of the farmhouse. You can see it's 70 meters. You can still spray the farmhouse from where you are.
Right. I'll give it a spray. I mean, what's the worst that can happen here?
Okay.
So
range combat, roll -1 for the range.
okay. But I'm spraying. So that should still be that +7. Let me get back to that.
Yep, that'll do it. Roll the 1d10 plus, I believe it's a 2 in this situation.
Yeah, the grease gun. Yeah, let me see here real quick. Submachine gun. It's a 2, correct?
Yep. So 1d10 plus 2.
Okay. So it'd be a 6.
Okay, and so as you just unleash a hail of bullets at the farmhouse over here, you hear someone scream out and hear someone hitting the ground in pain, crying out in German.
Route, take it.
Well, you got one. Yep. To Private Jones.
All right, so I'm going to see that he did that, and I can't quite make out the sniper in front of me, but I'm actually going to go a different route since I don't have too much of a target at the moment. I am going to try to rally and remove the suppression from my buddy McFly. So I'm going to use my empathy 3. I do actually have 1 rank in command. So that's 4, and then I have inspiring. Allies in the same zone as you receive a +1 die to guts checks. So actually, that would be for him. So that's not usable. So I'll just roll the 4 dice.
Okay. Are you spending lucky strikes to add 2 by chance?
Think that I will not.
Okay.
I don't think that that's going to be that essential, but just in case.
Save yourself. Save yourself.
And it was 3. It's 3. No, it's 4d6. There we go. Boom. All right, so that effectively removes his suppression, and he can act like normal. And that's my slow action. My fast action is going to be to kind of crawl slowly forward toward the sniper's nest and see if I can gain advantage for the next round.
Okay.
So I imagine myself just, come on, man, let's go. Get your ass up, and then just crawl forward.
And that was all it took for Seamus to realize that he's got to keep on pushing. Which brings us to the one and only Seamus McFly.
All right, so I don't have a target, correct?
I mean, yeah, you know that he's somewhere over here from where Al spotted him, but you don't quite have eyes on yet.
All right, so I'm going to crawl forward. And wait till I see something.
You should see something now?
Oh, I see something. All right, so I am going to shoot at... we know the sniper's probably wounded. I'm going to shoot at the German observer.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be another 66.
That it would.
I only rolled 1, but it's a 6. But I'll roll the other 5.
I mean, if you're going to roll, if it's only going to roll 1, that's 1 to roll.
Lucky the Irish, I guess.
Oh,
There's a
just
space between your 5 and your
slash,
D6.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, that gap is making it roll 6. There you go.
Oh, look at that. 3 6s.
Wow! Holy smokes!
All right.
So
Are you
how many-
dumping those into
Good Lord.
damage?
I'm
Yeah,
going to dump
dude.
them both in damage, yeah.
All right, so that's going to be a 1d10 plus 5.
This is the carbine or the
Grand.
Yeah, he's got the
the Garand. So
Garand.
2, 3, 4. It's a +4 because he needs the first 6 to
Yep,
to
you're
hit,
right.
and then he's got a +2 to +2 to +4 to the D10.
10.
I'm on 6. Yeah.
Wow.
That left a big mark,
Yeah.
man. That just,
Got him,
that-
McFly.
Yeah.
That's a watermelon burst.
And so as you crawl forward in your belly through the muck, you see the German observer lifts his head up, with his binoculars in one hand, point out toward your position, because here, right before your shot goes through the binoculars into his neck,
Oh,
and he slumps over, motionless.
wow.
Okay.
Bringing us
That sniper's
to
gotta take. That sniper's gotta take a guts tech for sure.
Mike.
Well, initially at the beginning of the round, I was the furthest forward, so I was going to aim and then take a shot at the sniper. So I think that's still what I'm going to do
All right, go for it.
with my mediocre. Oh, there's a 6. I
Yeah,
finally
that's-
rolled a 6.
That's okay. It's still going to be a 1d10 plus 2 for the Garand.
The Mauser. But
Oh,
it's
the
the same.
Mauser.
It's the
Yep,
same for the
yep,
Mauser,
okay,
though.
Yep.
7.7 bullet, Boop.
I forgot the R.
Next stop, Berlin.
All right, that
Nice.
guy's-
So 8.
All right. So as you you see the sniper howl out in agony as you get off a shot that looks like it goes through his shoulder into his body cavity. So he's at least severely wounded and immobile, if not dead. But it's
Yeah, I
hard
don't
to
think
tell
he-
from your current vantage point which one he is.
I don't think he's running far.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the sniper shot down, it goes to Al.
Okay,
What you got, Al?
seeing the 3 guys to the south are pressing in on that sniper team, I'm not too worried about them. Instead, I'm going to move forward and orient on the German soldier in the house. He's
Okay.
beyond my... Say again?
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
He is beyond my immediate range, or he's beyond my short range, but I'm okay going at medium. That just cancels out my sharpshooter penalty, or sharpshooter specialization. So, still going to go on rapid fire with the carbine. Still got 3 and 3 otherwise, so should be a total of 7 dice coming his way. And on this one, I am going to roll Lucky Strike, so that will actually put it up to 9 dice.
All right.
Nice.
And that's a hit.
I'm going to use my extra dice
And
to...
you could.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you
He's
can
got
use
get-
the extra dice. Maybe you were about to say for extra damage, or you can get your lucky strike right back, which is actually an option too.
yep.
I mean, it's up to you.
I think in this case, I'm gonna use it for damage.
Okay.
All right. Okay,
So-
so that's going to be a... yep, go ahead.
D10 plus 3. 13.
Oh,
That's
and so you see the German in the farmhouse leaning out the window, taking aim to looks like he's trying to take a pot shot over at Jones, but as he leans out just far enough, you manage to catch him right under the and see a good portion of his head disintegrate in the process.
Get some.
And as the
wow.
as that German falls, you hear some chatter from within the farmhouse, and then you see one of the Germans stick his arm out the window, waving a piece of white cloth, saying, "Ich gebe auf! Ich gebe auf! Surrender, comrade! Surrender!"
No, that's white flag. That means rapid fire.
What
Here's
city
the
did
target.
you police? Because I don't want to move there.
Somewhere on the
Philly.
East Coast. Yeah, Philly. There you go.
That figures. Home of the Phillies.
We're losing to the Yankees right now. So we've been at this for an hour and 20. What do you say we take a quick bio break? We come back and we do some quick thoughts, and we can continue. But right now, hopefully our audience is not falling asleep. But we could share some of our insights so far. Are you guys up for a quick 2-minute break?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Sounds good.
that'll work.
Okay, well, we're going to send it back to Sean in the studio, and we'll be back in 2. Well, that was a quick 2 minutes. Thank you for tuning back in. So what we're going to do now is we've been playing for a while. Hopefully you went to the bathroom too while we did. But we're going to kind of talk about our impressions of the game, and we may play a little while longer. It's past some of our bedtimes, but I know Mike's not working tomorrow. So I'm going to go last because this is my really second time doing an RPG, and we know how the first one went. I was kicked out of the game because the guy didn't like my character name. So I'm gonna kick off with let's get Doc going first.
Wait, bitch, you insulted somebody and they kicked you out of their game? That sounds...
I named my character Thug Nuts Killer, dude. You take it for what it's worth.
Well, unlike Mitch, I have played a lot of RPGs over the years, and it's an interesting take on the dice mechanic. Usually you only roll a handful of dice, maybe, and it's more of a range on what constitutes a success versus this system where you have to get those sixes, but the better your stat and with the gears and all of that mean giving you more dice to throw. I think it's an interesting way of doing it. The only drawback to that though is you need a lot of D6s, particularly the more players you have, or you spend time swapping dice around.
Dude, I could fill a beanbag chair full of D6s I got.
Yes, you can, but if I take RPGs with me on drill weekend, and we take that stuff to the field because we're bored, I'm not necessarily going to do that in an austere environment. But I'm also an outlier on that, and I understand that. So overall, I've really enjoyed this so far, though.
Would you take it with you to the field with your soldiers?
Given the amount of D6s involved, probably not. Because again, if you're playing this on top of a Humvee or something like that, that would be a lot of dice to keep track of. But in a garrison setting, and to use it kind of as a, hey, let's think through some problem sets, this actually might be a fairly interesting teaching tool for small-scale unit tactics.
I'm glad you went there. I'm going to buy you a app that can roll as many d6s as you want. Let's continue on with the name Phil.
Yeah, so I think the verdict's still out. Playing an RPG for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's hard for me to say for sure, but I'm seeing a lot of positive indicators. I think the way I would put it is cards on the table. When I first got the rule book last year to take an early look at it, I was kind of concerned because it seemed like the game was going to be pretty clunky. Like there was a lot of rules modules for sort of advanced stuff or looked to be much more detailed combat than I'm used to seeing in a Year Zero game. I can happily report that having played it, I think that I misunderstood add-on modules as game essentials. Never make that mistake. Chrome is Chrome for a reason. And having a distilled, let's just play paratroopers, simple infantry combat, scratches the right itch for me. This was simple enough that I think you could teach this to non-RPG players or even non-gamers, but I think it's complex enough that it's not predetermined battles. It's not obvious. I like the mechanics in the game as far as the idea of a raise for a reroll. I like the idea of lucky strikes as variable bonuses. I like a lot of the character creation. I know this was already talked about on the last podcast, and to pile on to what Nate said, the throwback life path actually was strangely endearing to me. I managed to create a character who was really, really engaging to me just because he felt like an actual character. His whole gimmick was he was born to a military family, but his dad was a constantly miserable enlisted man who told him that, okay, Al, the only thing that matters in life is education. So Al did go get educated, but then turned out he was totally unskilled in the real world and had to join the army anyway. That's a great tale. That's, your dad wants you to do anything other than what he's doing, and it turns out that's exactly what you end up doing. And again,
Better than count on World War II happening either.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fair enough, but it's a compelling character, especially for the era. So I really enjoyed that. As far as in the game itself, I think the skills are so far weaving the sweet spot of you can do more or less anything that you want, but you're still confined. I don't know, because I haven't seen enough interactions to say for sure how much I like the 16 skills. I think that when you get into stuff like driving or fighting armor, I might have to come back and give different thoughts. I legitimately don't know if they'll be positive or not. I think that that's something that I'd be interested in pursuing at some other time just to take a look at it. But again, for the time I played, I've had a blast. This has been a lot of fun. It seems like a pretty fun system to me.
Mike, another veteran RPG guy.
So to echo some others, no, I agree. I like the ability skill combinations. It looks good there. The dice pools, I was caught off guard by it, but I can see where, especially on playing through a digital means, that it has zero impact as far as the die pools are concerned. For necessity of accessories, zero impact because of the digital. So that's great. Let's see, that was the die pools. I think all the basics are there, and especially with the specializations, talents, and the archetype layouts being in a book helps tremendously to kind of, here's what I would like to play. We won't say classes, but it kind of, it scratches that itch. The only complaint I have is the same complaint I have with many RPG systems, and that is all my close combat stuff for daggers and near fighting is always put back into strength, and it's hard to put it underneath agility. But that's just my personal gripe.
Well, before we go to the GM and of course the game designer, who's hopefully he's not tearing apart a phone book. Second time with an
Not
RPG.
at all.
Yeah. Second time with an RPG. The third one I could say I've gotten. Ross Rifles by those great guys in Vancouver that sent me a copy. Never played it. I thought it was interesting because it's Great War, but historical. Twilight 2000, I'm pointing at the box that you all can see plainly here. Still in the box, but I got that because of the excitement I heard from you, Phil, and you, Nate, in the past. More Phil. Like, he was very excited about it. And I'm like, other than War in the Pacific, any game he likes, I'm more inclined to play. But as a non-RPG guy, there's a lot I liked about this game. I love the backstory of the character. You really get into it, which I assume a lot of RPGs do, but there's relatable stuff here. I mean, these are not dwarves, elves, and orcs. These are, folks of the greatest generation, and a lot of times they mimic our lives. We were all stupid enough to join the military at one time or another. I like that. Now, when it comes to gameplay, I'm going to give big hats off to Nate. But for decision making and looking at a game that really gets to kind of simulating decision making and with the activation system, I think this game is really great. It almost hits it out of the park. I'll put it over the wall. Kind of making those quick and fast decisions as we would, and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of our characters, applying capabilities to the problem set that we're in. I think this is really good. I might actually say this and mean it. This is a game. I mean, I'm pointing at the beautiful books here. And the books are beautiful, by the way, Gabe. The artwork's amazing. And the stories. I'm actually reading the books, which I usually don't read a lot of the fluff because usually they get some idiot like me to write it. But I like this game. And hopefully, with all of our RPG players here, I would love to keep playing it. The thing about vehicles and things like that, I got to be honest with you, it's you take any game that does squad level infantry combat and you ruin it sometimes by adding vehicles. I'd be interested to see how that worked. But that's just my preference with a lot of games. You got to put tanks in it. I definitely want to try that. I've been joking around with Nate of taking this game and making it a B-17 crew fighting because all the mechanics are there. And
sure,
that for me would be a lot of fun that I can play with 3 or 4 people of a B-17 on a bomb run. So you may see some paperwork from me in the future, but I think things like that, I think, if you have a great fungible game system, it could do all these things. And I think you can do all these things. And I think that one of the things, just looking at the names of the squad people, it tells the story of the United States in World War II. And, living historians or reenactors, yeah, not everybody's into that. And plus, I hear it's kind of expensive. But I think this gets to that. And as a teaching tool, by the way, Gabe's a teacher, guys. I think this is a way to bring history to life, and I liked it. So hopefully you guys will play again or some more. I'll go to Nate, and then Gabe can say, "You guys are all idiots."
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mitch. So I'm a big fan of Year Zero engine games in general, so this was a pretty easy lift for me to get into. But I think from the Game Master Facilitator side, what kind of surprised me, that's one of those things that made a lot of sense in retrospect after I had some time to ponder it over a beer, was how easy the prep was and how easy it was to onboard new players, which for those who are sort of role-playing evangelists out there, one of the 2 big hurdles to getting the people to actually play the game is, one, teaching them the game. And this game benefits, first of all, from having a very solid chassis with Year Zero, where it's just to add a bunch of dice, the modifiers are never that crazy, and so it's really easy to keep track in your head of what goes where. And then also being grounded in reality, that if you know what it's like to run across a field or to try and lay down on your belly or to try to see in the dark, like you intuit those things naturally in ways you don't know, what a chain lightning spell does necessarily. So that really helps, I think, to get into new players, especially those who are either in the military or interested in the military, up to speed very quickly. Now, the other thing that really jumped out at me as I was setting this up was how easy it was to prepare. And I'll reiterate that it would be great if Firelock could put some brain power into developing an integrated virtual tabletop sheet, because, as we saw, it just makes the technical side a little bit smoother. But otherwise, for prep, it was a matter of, okay, I knew running the game, I didn't want to accidentally spoil book material, so I didn't want to touch any of the stuff already written out there for war stories. So I just plucked an actual unit and their actual mission from an actual battle in World War II, did a little Wikipedia dive, and did a skim of the official history of the battle, and then it was a matter of just grabbing some art assets, which was just stuff I did because I thought it was fun, taking the Google Maps of the spot in France where this is today, and then slapping it into Incarnate, which is you can even have a free tier subscription of that to make the map. And so whereas I'd probably spend upwards to maybe 5 hours doing a from-scratch Dungeons & Dragons adventure, for this session, it was probably like 2 hours of prep tops. That's just because I got really into reading some of the histories of Colonel Johnson and the drama of trying to actually find Lieutenant Farrell in the morning of the battle to call for that naval gunfire, which was a real thing that happened. And that was a real thing. The Battle of La Barquette Lock, the ace up Colonel Johnson's sleeve was he had that Navy observer there with the radio comms, the USS Quincy, and that's what knocked out the anti-tank guns that were holding the lock. So it's all, and again, so I had to do like minor artistic license on some of the end, but it was a real case. The 501st really landed into a registered artillery zone and had to scramble and scatter, and then had the little pockets of guys on the battlefield of their initiative had to sort of secure these positions, and then eventually come together with this ad hoc plan to hold the lock to prevent the German armor from crossing over. And so all this stuff happened, and that made it real easy to just integrate that into this, okay, at the squad level, what was this like for a bunch of guys who just jumped out of an airplane to figure out in the ground? So from an onboarding and prep perspective, awesome. It was super easy, and I could easily see, like Mitch said, modifying this to a lot of different situations using the same prep method and being able to run with this in their own campaign. I know that the Rendezvous with Destiny campaign is out to do the 101st camp, their main story all the way through D-Day, through Market Garden into Germany. But with the friend of Google out there and all the open source U.S. Army and other history out there, this is pretty easy to put together for your friends on a Sunday night.
I want you to know a guy in our office, J.R. Williams, who wears the 101st patch, I guess, on his right sleeve, started singing "We Have a Rendezvous with Destiny" today, and that song never sounds right. Just saying. Well, Gabe, I think these guys liked it, but how bad did we play your game? And what are you thinking now, having played it for the first time in a long time?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for the kind words. It's always very heartening to hear everybody's nice complimentary commentary there. So it's really well received and appreciated. A couple things I wanted to throw out there. And in terms of the game's modularity, you hit it on the head when it was said that you take the modules as you wish, and you can take the complexity or you can completely scrap it out. We played a pretty straightforward, barely any real complexity to a lot of the stuff that we were doing. We had a couple of negative modifiers here and there for distance and for visibility and whatnot in the dark. An example of something that, if you were to take this and say, well, let's make this a little bit more of a simulation, when we were firing toward the barn and one of the soldiers that we were firing at was, in a windowsill. It could be where the cover and obscurity would have not only just given more negatives to hit, but if it's a critical hit, you'd single out a body part, and if you would have hit, let's say, the lower torso, that actually hits the wall of the barn, and it takes away the shot altogether. That adds a layer of complexity that's only attractive, I would imagine, to people that might want to say, well, that's a near impossible shot, or that's a really difficult shot. I want to make sure that my RPG kind of emulates that reality a little bit more truthfully. But again, it's something you put in or you leave out. Along the very same lines, in our Rendezvous with Destiny, the La Barquette lock scenario has the players kind of assisting in a frontal assault on the actual anti-tank guns, and you have a wider battle going on as your company is out there fighting in larger numbers, and you can carry out those battles as a side sort of event that's going on, where the party will try to conduct some small scale skirmishes and try to maybe attract the attention of the enemy so that the greater force can move forward, or maybe take out one of the officers or something, and that could affect the overall battle. So that's something that is an added layer, sort of modular, where if you wanted to play out a larger scale battle, you could do that within the rules. So it is a cool thing to be able to say, I want to throw this in, but I want to throw this out, or today we're going to do something a little bit different with regards to bigger battles. And I think that flexibility is part of the cool thing. I liked, who was it that said about the close combat being something that could be based off of agility? Somebody said that?
Mike.
So get this, Mike. There's going to be future specializations, and I can see a specialization under agility whereupon you are more capable in terms of your knife fighting or your bayonet use, and you have the option of using your agility. That way, a person with a higher agility can benefit from that should they take that specialization, which would reflect a person using more of agility than strength. Because I agree with you 100%. There's some, D&D 5th edition has the finesse weapons where it likes to use your dexterity. So that would be along the very same lines. But the specializations we've got in the core book are not finite by any means. And you could easily make that a specialization where your character just happens to use their agility. So that's a really good one and something to consider for future use. The last thing I wanted to throw out there is this, and the scenario that we played had, I don't know, I guess it would be, we might gauge it 75% combat, 25% maybe role playing when we came across the captain and the colonel, and that's something that again is totally governed by the group and whether or not they want to emphasize one or the other. And I think that that's certainly something that, while not necessarily showcased in tonight's episode, you can make a point of making lots of role-playing scenarios that don't involve a lot of combat, because you could throw in French resistance, you could throw in the camaraderie amongst your own company, or the competition amongst your own allied soldiers, and I think that that's something that might be unrecognized if it isn't paid attention to, or at least mentioned in a podcast like this. So I think that overall, it's being well received. So I'm kind of happy about that. And the books, you're right, man. I just got my hands on it last week myself, and they are gorgeous.
Yeah, without a doubt. I may have promised these guys books, but anyway, I got a lot of doubloons I'll spend on you boys. But yeah, I think it's a great game, and for me to get excited about an RPG, not an RPG player, I think that should tell you something. These guys, they're gonna have to free up a new night to play this game. But I I think Mike, I, and Nate said, this would be great if we can get a group of folks playing this. And about how easy it is to pull people into this game. Just thinking, I was talking to Sebastian about playing this. He's in Japan, believe it or not. Yeah, I'll play. Well, I said, just show up. When? 8 o'clock Monday. I'll be in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that ain't going to work. So I like that. And then, the history part of it, where Nate went in and found this mission of finding this Navy dude.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
I think that's cool. And I would love to see how this game kind of plays out with students. Maybe I'll take it to one of the Georgetown gaming nights and see if Nate and I can talk some of those cats into playing. But I really dig the game. So we don't kill our folks that are listening. We can end this now here, to play a little bit more. But I want to thank everybody for doing this. And Nate, bravo on the job today.
No, thanks Gabe for having me. And it was great to be here with Gabe, since it is a product that, like Phil said, at first was like, I'm not sure this idea really has legs, but after reading through it and going through character creation and actually running it, this is up there with every other Year Zero game out there as being something that folks ought to give it a try, if for nothing else, just to do something different compared to what else is out there in the market.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to turn it back to Sean, but once again, thank you guys so much for showing up, and for Nate for putting this on. And look, I'm going to throw it out there, put it as a mystery for our listeners. We may want to continue this, or if you want to play with us and Nate, and you're listening to this podcast, you know how to reach us, and maybe we can get a War Stories group going with a bunch of people. So I'm going to send it back to Sean in the studio. Once again, thank you guys very much. And if you like us and you like this podcast, hit a like or come visit us on the No Dice, No Glory Facebook page. But to find this game, go to firelockgames.com. War Stories. Look, man, if you're a cartoon fan, get it, because I love the artwork in this thing. But check out firelockgames.com. Gabe, great job. And, sorry that you puked all over your reserve chute.
I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory. And keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.